ਵੈਲਕਮ ਬੈਕ ਜੀ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਗੈਸਟ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜੀ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਨਹੀਦ ਨੈਂਸ਼ੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਬੜੇ ਹਾਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਾਈਲ ਲੀਡਰ ਨੇ। ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ 11 ਈਅਰਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜੀ ਬਤੌਰ ਮੇਅਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਰਵ ਕੀਤਾ। ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਬੜੀ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਸਮਾਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਆਈ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹ ਕੰਟੈਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਰੇਸ ਜੋ NDP ਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਹੁਣ ਫਾਈਨਲੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਸਟ ਕਪਲ ਆਫ ਡੇਜ਼ ਗੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਾਈਨਲੀ ਇਹ ਓਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ ਰੇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਸੋ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਹੈ NDP ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਹੈ ਅਲਬਰਟਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ। ਔਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾਣਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ NDP ਕਿਵੇਂ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਪੰਜਾ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੀ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਆਓ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਸਰ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਮਾਈ ਰੇਡੀਓ। ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ।
Thank you. Sat Sri Akal, Ramadan Mubarak, everybody. I am so excited to be here in Edmonton and to be chatting with you. And I should just say, it's funny because I launched my campaign on the first day of Ramadan. Yes. And people were saying, oh, was that on purpose? Was that an auspicious date? Yeah. And I just sort of went, no, it was just the day. And I may have forgotten that doing 14 or 15 media interviews in a row when you're fasting and you can't drink water might not have been the most auspicious way to begin. But thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to introduce myself to people here in Edmonton and to people across the province.
Sir, you don't need any introduction. People know you. People know your work and the way you have served Calgary for many, many years. And can you give us some, but what happened, like how you decided to run for NDP? Sure. And what was going in meantime when you were waiting, like people are waiting, if you are coming in or not. So walk us through that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Maybe I'll take you even a little bit further back.
Definitely.
And just let you know that I grew up in Calgary, yes, but also in Red Deer in the 80s, just outside of Red Deer. And I've grown up and lived in Northeast Calgary. And if you know Calgary, you know that is the most diverse part of Calgary where people go to work every single day. Definitely. And I live in a neighborhood now that I sometimes joke that the city didn't know whether they should call it urban or suburban, so they went for turban. But, so I live in a very, very South Asian community, and I love it. I love it. I feel like when I go home, I can just exhale a little bit. But, as you know, I worked in industry for a long time in big business as a management consultant. Then I was a professor in the business school at Mount Royal University. Yes. And for 11 years, I served as mayor of Calgary, which was the honor of my life. Definitely. And I finished 2 years ago and thought, all right, I've done my seva. I've done my political seva. Now I will figure out how to do seva elsewhere in life. Yes. And I've created a really nice life for myself, a nice professional life where I'm still involved in the community and still doing lots of political commentary. You'll hear me on Punjabi radio and speaking English because my Punjabi is non-existent in Calgary and so on. I was doing well, but I was really looking at the province. I love this place. I love what Alberta stands for as a beacon of light and hope for people coming from every corner of the world. And like so many of us, I've been getting very frustrated. Life is getting harder. It's getting more unaffordable. Yes. And all the things that we've always relied on, especially as newcomers, are getting less reliable. We can't be guaranteed that the public schools we send our kids to are outstanding, as they always have been. We can't be guaranteed that there's going to be a spot in university for our kids. Most troubling, we can't be guaranteed that the public health care system is going to be there for us.
We hear that every day.
And, in our own communities, we're starting to hear stories of people, and I don't want to make too much of it, but look, many of the people listening today will know that coming to Canada, that was winning the lottery.
Yes.
That your village had a party. They had a mela, right? Yes. For you when you got your visa.
Definitely.
And for so many people, they're coming here now and going, well, where was that dream?
Yeah, that dream is taken away, yes.
I knew that the weather was going to be bad.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I didn't know I'd have to work this hard. Yeah. I didn't know that my business wouldn't be supported or that I couldn't work in the profession I was trained in. And that, I think, has gotten worse for a lot of people.
Yes.
And for me, that's not acceptable.
Yes.
We live in one of the wealthiest jurisdictions in the world. We are blessed with natural resources. We're blessed with human resources. And we need a better quality of life. So, when I was mayor, I served with 6 different premiers.
Yes.
And I can work with anybody. And they were various levels of good, not good. None of them were really great, but I've never seen anything like this government. Danielle Smith is someone I've known for 30 years. We went to university together.
I read that yesterday, yes.
But this person, who is the premier, is not the person I grew up with. She has given up so much. She has sold out so much in order to gain power. And while they are busy picking fights with Ottawa and with the Trudeau government and enriching their friends, we are suffering. And so I made it I really am answering your question. I'm taking a long time to get there.
No, that's fine.
But I made it my desire over the last year or so, particularly starting with the last provincial election, to use my voice to help Albertans think about a better future.
Definitely.
And enough people came to me from every corner of the province. People who are NDP supporters, people who have never voted NDP.
Yes.
And they've said to me, you have a certain set of skills, not very many skills, but a few of them. And you need to get more engaged with really doing this. And the more I think about it, the more I think that we have created a dialogue, and you probably hear it on the show every single day, that is very negative. It's like Alberta is against Ottawa. Alberta is against outsiders. Alberta is against all kinds of things. And I said, you know what? I am an optimist at heart.
Yes.
And I believe that we are so blessed to live in this place. And we got to be for something. We got to be for a better place. We got to get back to being that beacon of light and hope for everyone in the world to say, this is where I want to be. And ultimately, that's how I ended up making this decision. And we can go in, if you like, into some details around the NDP and so on. But I just said, I spend my life. So what I've been doing for the last 2 years, I've done many things. But one of the things I've been doing is speaking to groups across Canada and around the world about the importance of seva. If you've ever heard me speak, you know that Sanskrit word seva, selfless service.
Definitely.
And I've been talking to people about how we can bring seva into our own lives, how we can bring service into our own lives. And I use the word seva. And now I've realized that maybe this is where to use my seva.
Definitely.
And here we are.
Definitely. So people know you as a city mayor, non-partisan politics. Now you are coming into party politics. How you see that switch, and are you comfortable making that switch?
This is something I've been thinking a lot about. And so you asked me why it took me so long to make the decision, right? And there's a couple things. I just want to correct one thing that some people have said that I've seen in the Calgary Herald and in the Edmonton Journal. There was kind of a feeling that maybe the party was putting barriers in my way. That's not true at all. At all. They've been very welcoming. It's just they do have a process they have to go through because they don't know me. I had to fill out endless forms and do endless interviews. One of my favorite questions was, does anyone hold a grudge against you? And I was like, I'm Indian and I was the mayor for 11 years. Yes, many people hold a grudge. That's just how we are. But in any case, I actually took that time to have lots of conversations with people really around the question of, can a guy who's always worn purple fit in a party that is orange?
Definitely.
And, I wear purple every day. I'm still wearing a little bit of purple today in my tie.
Yes.
And it's purple and orange. It's hard to find a purple and orange tie, but I found one. What the purple always meant was it's a combination of liberal red and conservative blue. But that doesn't just mean that you're in the middle. It does mean that you are in where most Albertans are, in what I call the muscular middle.
Yes.
But it also means that we should set aside our tribes and how we identify ourselves and focus on our common humanity. And that's how I tried to run my life as mayor. And by the way, I did Google, what happens if you mix purple and orange?
Yes.
You get brown. I've already got that. So, but in any case, what I really learned in all these conversations with people across the province, NDP supporters, people who would never dream of voting NDP, I said, listen, this is what I believe in. What do you believe in?
Yes.
And I found that people are all saying the same thing. Strong public services, protecting the more vulnerable, making sure everyone can have a life of dignity, building a strong economy, supporting small business, supporting the energy sector, doing so in a way that makes us world leaders in environmental sustainability, not followers or bystanders as the world becomes more sustainable. And the one I really had to test, yes, balancing the budget.
Definitely.
And what I really found was that those values live in the NDP, and I didn't even know that. And so I thought, all right, if I can find myself a home in the NDP, then our job is to open the doors and let other Albertans recognize that they also have a home in the NDP.
This is my next question. Do you think all the discussions you have with the NDP and all your supporters, do you think NDP is ready to opening their doors?
I know.
Are they ready to?
I really do. And this was one of the things I really wanted to explore because I want to be really clear. I'm not taking over this party.
Yeah.
I don't think this party needs a savior. 750,000 Albertans voted for them last time.
100%.
And here in Edmonton, I mean, look how successful they are. And so they don't need saving. What I'm trying to do is figure out if the purple can be an invitation to people to open the door.
Definitely.
And yes, there have been one or two people, one or two only of all the people I've talked to within the party who feel uncomfortable with inviting more people in.
Definitely.
Every other person has said, no, that's why I'm here. So one of my co-chairs of my campaign is my own MLA, Parmeet Singh Boprai.
Yes.
Let me tell you a very Punjabi story for 1 second, because I think you'll find it funny.
Definitely.
So Parmeet is a wonderful guy. He embodies Seva. He was the president of the Gurdwara.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And so I've known him for years. And, he ran in the last election and he lost. And instead of giving up, he spent 4 years building up his profile, and that's the neighborhood I live in, so in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So he sent me a text in the middle of the campaign, and he said, brother, are you ready to openly support me? Because I've always been nonpartisan.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, Parmeet? I have never had a sign on my lawn, except with my name on it, for 15 years. Come put a sign on my lawn.
Amazing.
And I live in a house in Calgary. It's very typical suburban Calgary Edmonton house. It's all garage in the front, right? It's all driveway. And then there's a little strip of grass that me and my neighbor share, and then his driveway. And I got home a couple of hours later, and there was not a sign on my lawn. There was a 4x8 billboard on my lawn with a giant picture of Parmeet, much, much larger than life size. Amazing. And I just laughed and laughed. And I thought if my dad was still with us, he would be home and he'd be like, Naheed, why is there a giant Sikh on my lawn? And I just thought that was the most Punjabi thing you could do. Right?
It is.
But in any case, so what I was saying was that in Calgary, all but 3 of the MLAs are brand new. And they're all like Parmeet. They're saying, our job is not to be an MLA. Our job is to take government and make this place so much better.
Definitely.
And so I think the NDP is really open to this, but it's not about changing the NDP. It's about helping more Albertans understand that what they want is also what the NDP wants.
Definitely. And I was discussing that Alberta, in a unique political situation, we have 2-party system.
Yes.
And
that's new. It's never been like that before.
Definitely. And I can see your vision, opening up bringing more people into the party, and I think that is the right choice for any party in the 2-party system. Make your tent bigger and see more people fit into that tent, and you will have a bigger party to head to the election next time. So that's a great vision I can see.
Well, one of the really exciting things for me is I just launched on Monday.
Yeah.
And we're sitting down here on Wednesday morning having this conversation. And something very unexpected happened on Monday. At 1 o'clock, we launched, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And I swear this is true. I was in a basement in Forest Lawn in Calgary where we launched in quite an ugly room that we had rented in a seniors center. And I could feel a breeze come in. And not only because my phone was bouncing off the table with so many messages, but I had no idea that we would achieve that level of interest with people. So we gave people 1 day's notice to come in Calgary to a training for volunteers for people who wanted to volunteer. I didn't really want to do it because I had to drive up here to Edmonton. And I thought with 1 day's notice, who's going to show up? We'll get 20, 30 people there. There were over 500 people who showed up.
Photographs, yes.
First day. And I won't tell you because the campaign tells me I'm not allowed to tell you.
Okay.
But I had a very, very optimistic number in my mind for how many new signups we could get, people coming to nenshi.ca
Definitely.
and signing up and buying a membership. We got 10 times my most optimistic number in one day.
Amazing.
And that's not because I'm hugely popular.
Yes.
What that really said to me in talking to those 500 people yesterday is Albertans have been craving something better than what we've got. They've been craving that sense of hope and that springtime in Alberta. And so my job now is to give that sense of, after this long, long UCP winter, that we are coming to a spring and to a better future. And I'm just energized by Albertans' desire to want something better.
I think you answered my next question. Most of the other, candidates are from NDP. They were a member for a
All
long
five,
time.
yeah.
Yes, and they already have membership drive going on. And you're coming in late as an outsider, I would say. And you are comfortable selling enough membership in your favor and, taking this to the finish line.
Yeah, so it's both things. Number one is, yes, we do need to sell memberships, and this is different. So maybe I can just explain for a moment, because it is different to some of our listeners, what this process is.
Okay.
So first step is I'm running to be leader of the NDP.
Yes.
If I win that election, and that will be announced on June 22nd,
Yes.
then I become the leader of the opposition. I am not a sitting member of the legislature, but I'll still be leader of the opposition.
Definitely.
And at some point, there will probably be a by-election somewhere that would get me into the legislature.
Yes.
And then we would contest in the general election, which will not be probably until 2027. So that's the steps. If you want to participate, and I encourage you to participate in the first step, then you have to be a member of the NDP.
Yes.
So you have to buy a membership, which you can do online at nenshi.ca. It costs $10. Everybody above 14 who is resident in Alberta. You don't have to be a citizen.
Okay.
If you're above 14, if you're a PR or a refugee or an international student, you are eligible to buy the membership. You can go to nenshi.ca and buy the membership. And as I said, we've had stunning amounts of membership sales. But what is important for me as well is that we're not just going to buy a bunch of memberships and take over this party. It's important that the people who have built this party, who have done the hard work of building this party, building this big house, also know that they will always have a place in this house if I am the leader. And so I've been really pleased with the number of existing MLAs and supporters who have come out to support me. So later this afternoon, I will be appearing with 4 MLAs who have all agreed to endorse me. Parmeet Singh Boprai and Court Ellingson are my co-chairs. Court is the former chief economist of Calgary Economic Development. Samir Kayande, who is an economist and represents Calgary Elbow, has endorsed me. And Rod Loyola here in Edmonton has endorsed me, which is amazing, because here's the thing. The other 3 I know, they're from Calgary, and one of them is my MLA. And Court and I went to university with Danielle Smith together. But Rod Loyola, I don't know at all. And if you know Rod's reputation, he is from the left wing of the party.
You're sitting in his riding here.
Yes, exactly, right? And he really, he's a South American immigrant, workers' rights, the left wing of the party that a lot of people would have said is not the purple side of the party. And he is the most enthusiastic supporter I have, because he says this is exactly what we need. And he knows he's not always going to get everything he needs, or he will not always win the fights in caucus on the things he believes in. But he said we have to be able to move the party forward. So to me, that's really exciting. But let me say one thing. This is a different kind of election, because this is inside the family.
It is.
It's inside the family. And the other 5 candidates, you've got one man who is long history in the labor movement and with the party. And then you have these 4 extraordinary women.
Yes.
Smart, capable, brilliant. 2 of them have been cabinet ministers. One of them, Raki Pancholi, is probably one of the most charismatic people I've ever met. I'm sure you've had her on.
Definitely.
And then you have Jody Stonehouse, who is representing a completely different constituency about getting Indigenous people involved. They are wonderful people. Definitely. And by the way, that's one of the reasons it took me a while to make the decision to go forward, because they were so great.
Yes.
But then I also realized this whole idea of opening the doors, you want to have an outsider in here. You want to have someone with clear eyes saying, you know, some of the historical things the NDP has done, like the relationship with the federal party, which I don't think serves the party well anymore. Those are conversations I think only an outsider can start. Definitely. And so I'm hoping that they welcome me, and they have welcomed me with open arms. And all four of the women and Gil McGowan I've talked to them all before I decided. They all encouraged me to enter. And I love that they've all had some fun with my entry. So Sarah Hoffman has said, I'm thrilled to have him here, and I hope he's really happy coming second, and he'll be a good cabinet minister in my government. And I was like, that is sassy. And then Raki Pancholi said, we're thrilled to have him, let the best woman win. So we're going to have some fun together.
Definitely.
And we're going to have a clash of ideas, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Definitely. And my last question is, we are running out of time. You know, I love to chat with you more.
I'll come on anytime.
Definitely. My last question is, Rachel Notley left a legacy, huge legacy to fill. What are you feeling about, you know, like filling that legacy if you become a leader of NDP?
Rachel Notley is a once-in-a-lifetime politician. You don't see people with those sort of skills very often. And I didn't know Rachel very well. And I remember sitting in my office at Calgary City Hall and watching that 2015 debate on my tiny, tiny office TV. And I looked at her, looked Jim Prentice, a lion of politics, in the eye, and say something like, people have been underestimating me my whole life. It's time to stop. Definitely. And I just went, wow.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Rachel Notley has built this party, not just her, with Sarah Hoffman, with Kathleen Ganley, with Raki Pancholi, with so many others, has built this party to what it is, has built it into a formidable machine. No one could have gotten this party to where it is other than that. And now it is time, and I've had many great conversations with Rachel. She's been extremely generous with her time. And now it's time for us to go to the next step. And so I won't be another Rachel. If I win, I'll be something quite different.
Definitely.
But I will always do that with great respect for what has brought us to this place.
Definitely. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And if you can mention your website or
sure.
How to become.
I'm Naheed Nenshi. Let's practice this line, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm Naheed Nenshi. I am running to be leader of the Alberta's NDP and your next Premier of Alberta. And you can learn more about our vision for Alberta, for all of us, by visiting nenshi.ca. And I encourage you, please, to go to nenshi.ca, nenshi.ca, to sign up for your NDP membership today.
Thank you very much, sir. All the best for your campaign. And,
thank you.
Chat with you soon in coming days or weeks. You know.
You bet.
Thank you very much. And ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦਿਓ ਜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਖਤਮ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਜੀ ਸਮਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਰਾਜ ਹੁਰੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ